Hiya. I wasn't going to make a commentary on the promo clip of Elementary because it's only a promo clip and it seems very silly to throw our hands up in rage or jump around for joy with such a small offering of footage to us. But I have since then found out that, such is the way of the internet, that there are actually quite a lot of rage and rants and discussions going on, and I thought I would put out my two bobs worth because discussions are what I'm all about, and Sherlock is also what I'm all about. So I'm not going to go into too much detail because really there's not enough to go on, but I think it doesn't look that bad. I think anyone who's like, oh, it looks terrible, then just don't watch it, like dismiss it and just pretend it never happened and carry on with your lives. I think I will watch the pilot just to see what it's like. I mean, what people need to remember, particularly if you're just basing this on your BBC Sherlock appreciation, is that the pilot for BBC Sherlock was dreadful. Like, there was the skeleton of something amazing. Like, you could see the dynamics between Benedict and Martin, and you could hear the clever lines, but the filming was dodgy. The lighting was dodgy. They had really overdramatic moments that were borderline like soap opera, and so it was a pilot. It's a pilot. Pilots have their weaknesses. The House MD pilot, another Sherlock Holmes-based TV series, the first episode was all yellow. Like, the episode itself had a failing liver. Like, these things happen and they progress and they get better and they work out where they sit. But my main issues is that Jonny Lee Miller's Sherlock is wearing a scarf and coat, and I have no issues. It's not like Benedict Cumberbatch's Sherlock owns a scarf and coat. He's like, I'm the only man in London who can wear such gear. That's ridiculous. Anyone can wear a scarf and coat. But I just thought it was amazing that they got that through, considering the fact that Moffat and the BBC Sherlock cast were, putting out big warnings in lots of the online papers saying that they would not let the smallest copyright infringement pass, and that seems like a really big wardrobe reference. I mean, it's a red checkered scarf and it's a completely different coat, but it's like, why not give him, I don't know, an Adidas sports jacket and a baseball cap? I mean, you don't have to, but like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's lots of accessories you could have picked, and you picked the same ones. Interesting. My other beef is his accent is odd. Now, I'm no one to talk about odd accents because I have a very strange accent, but Jonny Lee Miller is English, which I didn't know. So there you go. Jonny Lee Miller is English. And I'm very much used to him being American from his amazing role in Eli Stone. So at first I was like, oh, it's just me thinking, oh, I didn't know he was English. But then you heard him in the interview bits, and it was like, okay. His accent seems like they've pushed the English accent to its like over-the-top posh. It reminded me a bit of Robert Downey Jr.'s Holmes from the Guy Ritchie films, where it's like overemphasizing certain aspects, not to the point where it's like Dick Van Dyke, British, scary, caricature kind of accents, but just very odd and uncomfortably sounding at some points, like when he says Scotland Yard, and it's just like, oh, I'm very sorry, like it's very weird, like it's like jam and cream sort of thing. I don't know, it was just really over the top. Sort of like how Australian actors and actresses, when they're asked to play Australians in films, get told that they can't just use their normal accent. They have to like go full out Ocker Aussie and be all like, "G'day, mate. Nah, I'd love to throw some shrimp on the barbie." A, we don't say shrimp, and B, there are very few people I know in the world who say g'day, particularly in Australia. So maybe it's just that, like, it's an American audience, and they were like, we'll overdo the British accents. But, America has embraced Doctor Who and BBC Sherlock, and they can handle accents quite easily, so it really shouldn't be a problem. So I don't know what's going on there. Maybe it's one of his quirky traits. And that's the other thing. They've made this Sherlock extra quirky. So he reminded me a bit of Sheldon's humour from Big Bang Theory, a bit of the OCD personality of Monk, with his kind of timid but also very opinionated sort of self, and a bit of, as I said before, Robert Downey Jr.'s home of like over-the-top dapperness. So it's a very interesting mix, and I look forward to seeing how the character is portrayed. I think that there's no issues with the the female-male character dynamic as long as they keep it platonic, because Sherlock and John are platonic. It's as simple as that. Just have them be best friends. You can have the sexual tension by all means. I mean, there's a hell of a lot of sexual tension and innuendo in the Ritchie films. There's plenty of subtext and throwaway lines in the BBC series that imply, stuff going on. There's constant questions of them being gay, so they can have that in their heterosexual relationships by all means, as long as they just keep it as that, like subtext, and they all still branch off and have their own relationships, because that's not what Sherlock Holmes is about. And I think that's where House MD went wrong as well. Like, for a while it was about the Doctor and his cases, and then it became about House and Cuddy, and you lost the plot a bit, and now sad things and confusing things are happening. So, long story short, I've kept this under 10 minutes so far. Let's see if I can keep that up. It looks like it's got the foundations to be something interesting, not something new or innovative. I don't think it will be groundbreaking television. I could be wrong, as I'm just watching the series Awake, and I think that's quite a cool concept. Definitely not new, but it's an interesting twist on old ideas. So if they can do that, that'll be great. I would like to know if they're going to be using Arthur Conan Doyle's cases and like adapting them for modern society and putting their own little twists on it, or if they're going to be fabricating cases, because that might not go so well. Or maybe that'll be better. Who knows? Que sera, sera. So yes, my points are wardrobe, accent, personality bag of weird traits. Hopefully they can make one believable character and not just some kind of Frankenstein creation of sewn together parts of Sherlock. Sorry, I'm laughing because I just realised how appropriate it would be if he was a Frankenstein creation of Sherlock parts, since he played Frankenstein alongside Benedict Cumberbatch. And on that geeky reference, I will leave you all now. Toodles!